What's going on, guys? My name's Eclihpse, and today we will be going over 10 new cards that Supercell should add to Clash Royale. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I did not make up a single card in this video. All 10 cards are coming from this guy, Johan is here. So special shout out to him. I got all of these ideas from his Twitter, so without him, this video would not be possible. Now, real quickly, before we do get into things, if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscription button down below, and if you're feeling a little bit frisky, then make sure to turn on notifications. So with all of that taken care of, let's get started. The very first card we will be taking a look at is the Assassin Goblin. Now, this is a rare card for 3 elixir, and the description on it reads, a cloaked goblin becomes visible only after his first strike. Surprise. Now, this card is very similar to the Bandit and the Ghost. If you don't know what the Ghost is, that is another card we'll be talking about later on in this video, and it has somewhat of an importance, so just keep that in mind. So assuming the Bandit was never even in Clash Royale, then I feel like this Assassin card would make for a great substitute, but like I said, since the Bandit already pretty much does what the Assassin does, I don't think this card will ever get added, but I do still think it's an amazing idea. Next up on our list though, we have the Harpooner. Now, the Harpooner is an epic card, and this costs 3 elixir as well, and the description on this reads, a barbarian fisherman enters the arena. He fires his massive spear at the enemies, dealing damage and pulling them back. Now, at first when I read this, I kind of thought of like an overpowered spear goblin, or kind of like a spear goblin on crack. Like, you guys know how many hit points a barbarian has, so picture that, but then picture him having a big old fat spear, not spare, crap. But as I was saying, picture a big barbarian with like a massive spear. So just imagine this card throwing his spear at a troop. When it hits the troop, it's actually gonna pull like the troop forward, kind of. It's kind of hard to explain, but if you know how a harpoon works, then this makes like perfectly good sense. And in my mind, I feel like this card for 3 elixir may be on the cheaper side of things. Like, I'm picturing this to just be like a spear goblin on crack, completely unstoppable, and I feel like this would make a great addition for the game. Now, next up, we're going to be talking about the Ghost, and earlier on in this video, I told you to remember this card because this was actually an official card concept by Supercell. They were thinking about adding this card to the game, but they decided to cancel it for some odd reason. But as of recently, Supercell actually mentioned how this card may show up in the brand new October update. Now, as far as all of these stats and stuff goes, I don't know if these are like official stats or maybe these are just like created stats, but let's just review the profile. So the Ghost is an epic card for 4 elixir, and when you're reading the description, it says this undead warrior cloaks himself when left alone for too long, then comes back when he decides to attack. Spooky. And then at the very bottom of his profile, it says cloak cooldown. If the Ghost is out of range of all enemy units for a minimum of 3 seconds, he becomes invisible to units and not players. He reappears when he attacks, spells take effect when he cloaks, and overall, I don't feel like this card would be too overpowered. Since both players can see this card, it's not like he's just going to be completely invisible, causing havoc. It's kind of like you put him down, but no one's going to attack this card unless they put a spell on him or unless the Ghost attacks first. Now, in my mind, I feel like this is kind of similar to the Assassin Goblin and the Bandit, just because it goes invisible for a short amount of time. Would this card be overpowered? I don't really think so, and for 4 elixir, I don't think this card is going to be like pissing a lot of people off. Now, like I said, Supercell may be adding this card in the future, so I'm hoping we can actually see this one sometime soon, and if Supercell does decide to go through with that, then that's just going to be so awesome, because because this card again looks amazing. Moving on to the next card though, this one is the Totem, and this is a rare card for 4 Elixir. The description on it reads, 3 spirits trapped in a totem, shoot together to scare off enemies, destroy them one by one to defeat this terrible curse. Now at first I was a little bit confused on how this card worked, like the description wasn't super clear, it kind of left a little bit of mystery, so I had to sit down, clear my mind, and actually think about this pretty heavily. So essentially this is going to be a building. You put it down and there's going to be 3 spirits kind of circulating around it, and these 3 spirits are going to cause damage to any troops that come near it, and the only way to destroy the totem is to destroy the 3 spirits that spawn from it. Now I really don't know how overpowered this card would be. It does only cost 4 elixir, and for 4 elixir I feel like that may be on the lower end. This is kind of like between a cannon and a bomb tower, and from the looks of it, this sounds like it would be a lot more overpowered than a bomb tower. So as far as an elixir cost on this goes, I think 5 or 6 would even be fair, but keep in mind I don't know how strong these spirits would be, but from the looks of it I feel like this card would make for a great addition to Clash Royale. And that's it for like the cool realistic card concepts, because for the rest of this video things are gonna take a turn, maybe even for the worse, but the rest of the card concepts in this video are just gonna be like really funny, ridiculous card concepts that I personally found to be rather entertaining. So the first one, we have the Expo card. This is very similar to the cannon card, so pretty much picture an Expo on wheels, but once it dies it's just a normal Expo. So this would be like a moving Expo, crazy range, 110% overpowered. And as far as an elixir cost on this goes, I would estimate probably somewhere from 10 elixir or more. Like just picture a moving Expo. The Expo alone already causes enough issues, but if this thing was versatile, it would suck a lot. And just in case you thought things couldn't get worse, let me introduce you to the Golem Writer. So the Golem Writer is essentially a Hog Rider riding a Golem. When the Golem breaks into 2 troops, the Hog Rider becomes a regular Hog Rider, and I have to say this would probably cost way more than 10 elixir, probably somewhere in the range of like 12 to 13 elixir. Like this would just be totally unstoppable, totally annoying as well, and I'm super happy this isn't in the game, because if it was, I'm sure me and plenty of you guys would probably quit. Now I understand the last 2 cards I mentioned were pretty damn miserable, but wait, there's more. Introducing the Lava Hound barrel. This is pretty much a Lava Hound in a Goblin barrel. When the Lava Hound pops, goblins come out as well. Again, another overpowered design that probably would cost a lot of elixir. Again, I probably wouldn't be posting this to my channel because it would definitely kill the game. Now guys, we're not done there. We have more stupidly overpowered designs. Introducing the Hog Rider Train. This pretty much spawns 5 Hog Riders at once. You can't get more overpowered than this. Like, what would you guys use to counter this? A tornado and like a rocket? That right there is something that not everyone runs in their deck. If this was in the game, again, no one would probably play anymore. And we're now moving on to the final stupid design. This is the Witch on Crack, aka a witch that spawns guards instead of skeletons. Guards, honestly, are rather underrated in my opinion. Like, it takes a tower a decent amount of time to take them out. They're pretty good on defense, and if a witch were to spawn guards instead of skeletons, now like I said, that was the last ridiculous design, but we're now going to move on to the final card of this video, and this is the Goblin Bomber. It's just a goblin with a bomb, but I'm gonna throw my own twist on this. There wasn't a description for this card or any sort of statistics, so let's just assume this is a suicide bomber. You guys all know how fast a goblin is, so picture a regular goblin holding a big bomb, sprinting towards the enemy tower and just doing heaps of damage. I think this card wouldn't be super overpowered, and in my opinion, I feel like this would actually be pretty fun. And that concludes it for the 10 cards that Supercell should add to Clash Royale. Now remember, all this was made possible thanks to Johan is here. So special shout out to that guy, because remember, without him, I wouldn't have had any of the pictures for today's video. Now, if you guys out there have any cool card concepts that you would like to see get added to Clash Royale, please feel free to leave those down in my comment section below, or send me a tweet over on Twitter with that suggestion. But guys, this has been Eclihpse. Thank you all for watching, and peace out.